It may not seem like news to learn, as we did officially today, that the United States economy is in recession. For months now, things have seemed really quite recession-like, even to the non-economists among us. But the rules of economic prognostication dictate that only a select group of economics gurus can officially declare that a recession is underway. Today, that very special group, the National Bureau of Economic Research, made it official. America, you are in recession. And according to the experts, it started last December. Now, for most of us, this is not shocking information. Some folks, however, were a little bit behind the curve on this one.
First of all, we're not in a recession. We're in a slowdown.
Growth is much better than a recession. So I think we have avoided a recession, it appears.
There's no one who could actually tell you if we precisely are in a recession right now. And I think we should be careful about throwing around words like that until there's actually some evidence.
Yeah, each of those statements came during what is now officially known from the mountains to the valleys as the current recession. But as amusing as I told you so's are, let's skip right to the more pressing matter of what's being done now to fix this mess. Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson was out and about today, extolling the virtues of the various bailouts and rescue packages that have already been doled out and promising more to come. But of course, as he spoke, the giant red arrow pointing downward floated next to his face. The Dow was busy dropping nearly 700 points for the day. Not a promising sign on the same day the recession is made official. But President-elect Obama is meeting with governors tonight and tomorrow in Philadelphia. 43 of them are up against potential budget deficits, and they want the feds to help out, in part by funneling $136 billion into infrastructure projects across the country. Infrastructure. And they want to infuse some extra cash into social service programs. So where is the bottom of this recession? And are the other economic plans being debated and begged for right now likely to seem more effective than Secretary Paulson's excellent financial bailout adventure? Joining us now is New Jersey Governor Jon Corzine, who is also the former chairman of Goldman Sachs. Governor Corzine met with President-elect Obama earlier tonight. Governor, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here, Rachel. Nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's great. I want to say tonight's meeting was strictly social, conversational. I think people who worked hard during the campaign wanted to share some of their experiences and sort of renew friendships.
But tomorrow it's down to business, right?
Real business tomorrow. You know, those 1.25 million Americans, I think, who have lost their job sort of knew we had a recession going on.
That's exactly right. Well, when you speak with President-elect Obama tomorrow and when he has a chance to speak to you, what are you hoping to hear from him? What are you going to suggest to him? What do governors need right now?
One of the great things about President-elect Obama is he actually listens. And so I think we're going to hear him asking questions about how we make this economy stronger. I heard you talk about infrastructure. He will hear whether he'll ask the kinds of questions of whether we can actually put money to work on long-term successful projects in infrastructure. He'll want to hear how you can help the states without making us dependents of the federal government. He'll want to understand how we ought to address the housing market so that we can get people back buying homes and stabilizing declining housing values. And I've been in some of these economic meetings with him before, and he is a great listener. He learns from these and then puts that into his own thoughts, along with his economic advisors, to come up with what I hope will be a very, very large economic stimulus program that they'll announce hopefully the day he is sworn in.
With all the talk about the hope for a large economic stimulus program, I wonder about the need for a political argument against conservatives, both conservative Democrats and conservative Republicans, who may be discovering their inner deficit hawks when they hear talk about a lot of big spending at a time when we've already got a lot of debt. Is there a political argument against them, or are the economic arguments here self-evident?
Well, I think I hear economists on both the right and the left saying that we have to increase demand. We don't see much going on with the consumer right now. We don't see much going on with business investment. And since the dollar has strengthened dramatically, we probably won't see much going on in exports. So how are you going to get demand into the economy? How are you going to create the desire to purchase goods? And if the government doesn't fill that hole, who is? Now, how you fill that hole, I think, is the most important question. And we ought to be doing that by investing in things that will both create jobs and provide long-run returns to society. Roads, bridges, tunnels, highways, a new air traffic control system, things that have lasting value but put people to work today.
We have talked a lot on this show about how much taxpayer money has gone into the financial bailout, going into the big banks, the big financial institutions. You, of course, former chief at Goldman Sachs. Should non-financial companies, big important industries like the auto industry, also get bailout help from the government? Do they also provide enough jobs, provide enough return to society that they should get some direct help?
Well, it depends on how you give the help and whether you put strings along with the help that you offer. Yes, I believe we need an auto industry in the United States. I think we need the manufacturing base. I think we need the potential for the ability to protect the country by having the ability to produce military equipment if necessary. So it doesn't make any sense to close down the auto industry, but I wouldn't give blank checks to people who've run a bad business strategy for 20 years, certainly the last 10 years. I'd put strings that would mean that they have to convert to more energy efficient cars, that they'd have to change their compensation structures, and I'd ask for real fundamental change in the leadership of these organizations.
Do you think that the right strings were attached to the funding to the Wall Street firms? It seems that
you're leading the witness here, Rachel.
they had some pretty bad business practices for the past few years, and the thing that I worry about is it seems that people from within those industries are being tasked to administer that bailout right now. And to those of us outside the industry, it does feel like comparatively at least, feels like a blank check.
I think that there should have been more constraints put down on how the money was used. There hasn't been a surge of lending, and there certainly hasn't been an attempt to get into the mortgage market. The ground floor, the roots of our fundamental problem has been at the housing market on Main Street and Elm Street. And the failure to do that, I think, is both a failure of how the program was put together. It's focused at the asset level of the banks as opposed to the asset levels of the public. And I think that needs to get corrected, and it needs to get corrected quickly. And that's one of the messages that I will try to deliver tomorrow if I get a chance to talk to the president about the economic package.
Well, coming from you, those words carry a lot of weight. New Jersey Governor Jon Corzine, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, and
Thanks,
good luck
Rachel.
tomorrow.
Take care.
Coming up.